on the other end of the New York Times Deal Book Summit to campaign over paid parental leave.
I've been gone from the U.S. for a really long time, and to come back and to see that the U.S. is one of only 6 countries in the entire world that doesn't offer any form of national paid leave. I guess my approach was the same as it's been since I was really young. When I was 11 and I saw something that was wrong on TV, I put pen to paper and wrote a letter about it. So on this, I said, well, let me write a letter and let me pick up the phone and make some calls and see if I can help. It's just, to me, it seems like a really logical and obvious thing to do, and I'm happy that I'm able to support it.
All of this comes after unnamed friends and associates told reporters that the Duchess covets a political career and is considering a run for office. She'll be in Washington in a few weeks to attend a dinner for women lawmakers on Capitol Hill. Some of them may be wondering if she has any plans to try and join their number. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
To recap our top stories, the president of Belarus says he won't kneel down as the EU mulls further sanctions against Belarusian officials. The UN Refugee Agency says fighting in the DRC has forced more than 11,000 people to flee to Uganda since Sunday. The UK's Prime Minister is returning to COP26 to ask negotiators to pull out all the stops in climate change talks, and Germany has reported a record total of new daily COVID-19 cases. That's the latest feature story news. Chris Jones reporting.
You're listening to
Northern Lights Public Radio
on 102.7
KCHW. Tooele.
Say what? You're talking to our guest? What?
Yeah, I was going to say, one of these days we're going to get rid of this intro music. See, I wanted Chariots of Fire.
You can't do that.
Be fantastic?
It can't do that. That's a song that requires royalties.
Okay. Well,
okay, and then you're gonna get us kicked off of YouTube again.
How about Eye of the Tiger?
No, it's still get us kicked off of YouTube. It's got to be something generic like this. Good morning. It's KCHW 102.7, 722. Mike Bent's complaining in the background.
No, I'm not complaining.
In the foreground.
I'm just giving you advice.
I know.
I mean, after I walk in here and I have 2 envelopes on my keyboard. Which is never a good sign. So anyway, your investment opportunity in KCHW is coming out in...
Yes. It's in the mail, baby. I dropped them in last night. Like 150 envelopes.
Yeah, well, he's giving him a bad time last week. I mean,
I walked in last night to Dr. Jazz's show, and I said, "My fingers, will you finish these?" So he put the last of them together for me. And did all the stamps thing.
Okay,
so
all right. Getting back to my original point.
Okay.
Your investment opportunity in KCHW is on its way.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. In the mail.
And
if you don't get one, it's so easy. You can go right online, and unfortunately, it's still last year's, but it's all the same.
Okay.
Last year's form.
But
you can just go online and go to memberships on our website at kchw.org or northernlightspublicradio.com. Go right there, and you can get a membership in the Radio Guild and support public radio. And it is renewal time. It's fall.
Okay, well, I'm going to put some pressure on you, too.
Okay.
I was asked the other day, when is the Christmas Carol thing going to come out?
When is the Christmas Carol thing coming out? That's next. So sometime today, the email will go out to Sandy, and I'll fire up the old promo. It says, do you want a musical Christmas card? You want to be first?
Yes, I do.
All right, so who do you want musical Christmas cards from?
From me and Loretta.
Okay, so the fences.
The golf course.
And the golf course. All right, you're in.
Okay.
By the way, I jacked up the prices here to $900.
Oh!
No, I'm kidding.
Well, Loretta just won a jackpot out of the casino.
All right, $900 it is then. Not supposed to share that information. IRS could be listening.
I keep telling her, every time you win a jackpot out there, then you need to give 10% back.
There you go.
Not to the casino, because you
probably
get more than 10% anyway.
Yeah. All right. So there's our first 2 musical Christmas cards, $125.
Right.
If you're new in town or you got a new business and you don't know what a musical Christmas card is, you purchase one to support public radio. Actually, the Christmas card money, it's $125. You get one a day from Black Friday through Christmas Eve. And it's a musical Christmas card. It's 3 Christmas songs with a happy Christmas message from you, your family, your business, whatever you want it to be. So individuals can get these too. And that money goes right into music licensing fees for 2020. 22.
Okay,
Right?
and to if I remember right,
Yes.
at our age, I'm not quite sure that works sometimes. But the music license fees are like $4,000, right?
They actually are going up this year to it's going to be like $5,000.
Oh, really?
So yeah, and usually the musical Christmas cards pull in about half that. I might have to raise the price, but not this year. Not this year.
Too late. I already committed
That's
to the
right.
old price.
That's right. And just I want this COVID thing to be over. I want to get back to doing some concerts and stuff like that. I was looking at the membership form, and it says on there one of your benefits is getting discounted concert tickets.
Well, they've been really discounted for 18 months.
I haven't done a show in 18 months. I'm sorry.
So they've been free.
Thank you, Mr. Bantz. Round of applause for Mike Bantz, always thinking on his feet, especially when it comes to money.
Well, you do that for 35 years, you have a tendency to do that.
All right. Well, we better hustle because we've got a guest today.
We do. Let's get our act together.
We
man.
have Kathryn Patton coming in to talk about one-act plays right in just about 5-10 minutes. And then we're going to have our school superintendent, Jason Perrins, in at the top of the hour, talk about what's going on with the Chewil School District.
That's right.
Big stuff today. All
That's
right.
right.
So tell your friends. We're streaming everything on YouTube and Facebook as usual this morning if you want to share that with somebody. I thought it was really cute that the superintendent sent out on the phone system that he was going to be on the radio this morning, including a link via text to everybody's phone that's signed up for the school message system. So
That's right.
that was cool. We're going to have big numbers today. This might be our busiest day ever for listeners.
Worldwide numbers, I hope.
Yeah. So keep plugging that membership renewal thing for me.
I got to tell you a cute story. You know that worldwide thing we keep giving people a bad time about?
Yes?
I had a friend of mine from Florida email me. He goes, I might have to come up and see you guys. You guys sound like you have a pretty good time up there.
Are you talking about COVID? What?
No.
What? Well, I missed it then.
The KCHW thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
You're right.
He gives me a bad time because he has a tendency to, I won't say really dial in, I guess, click in.
Click in? Yeah.
Click in, yeah.
All right. I've got some friends from around the area who do that too. I love it.
Yeah, but they do it to make fun of you.
Yes, they do. 45 for a high temperature today. We are looking at just a 7% chance of rain. Yes. It's coming tonight, though, 55% and 31 for an overnight low. So there could be some snow flurries in that, too.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
All right. Thursday, 44 and 37 for the high and low, 25% chance of rain. Up to 60 for Friday, 45 and 37. They're actually calling it showers. And then Saturday and Sunday right now, a little rain each day, 25% on Saturday, 44 on Sunday. Let's see, high temperatures right or just under 50, 47 and 49, and overnight lows respectively, 38 and 43. There's your weather. I'm going really, really fast. Mr. Bentz.
So I got to go fast, too. Is
That's
that it?
right. He's got his fingers in all this community stuff, and since we've got guests today, we're going to make him do it really fast. And where do you want to start today?
Well, let's finish up some Buffa stuff.
Okay. Excellent.
Right.
That was a good time.
It was a good time. Brandon, I think, is we're going to do a thank you thing. It's going to show up, I think, in the Independent today, actually.
Okay.
And one of the points that he makes is, by all calculated estimates, we had over 1,000 people downtown on Wednesday afternoon. And so that was a great event. And
you got those from pretty reliable numbers because Dr. Haslund was handing out bracelets.
And he handed out 850 bracelets. Wow. And then Bradley Taekwondo.
Say it again.
Taekwondo.
Okay, thank you.
They did over 1,000 pieces of a variety of different things because they kept running out.
All right.
But anyway, I thought I'd bring you up to speed on some of the prizes.
Okay.
And make a plea. I'll do the plea first and get that out of the way. We still need an entry for the best COVID mask. We have 2, but now we need the third.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, the 2 we got, one of them is Brian Tidwell, and his mask was anonymous.
Is that just what it said?
No, the hacker.
Okay.
It looks like the skull.
All right.
I thought that was pretty cool. And then we had a family that had 2 of the little kids dressed up with a mask. It was, and I can never say the name, Elsie from one of the Disney flicks.
Frozen,
Elsa.
Yeah.
Elsa
there you
from
go.
Frozen. So
I don't even have kids, and I know that.
Okay. All right. Yeah, but you watch Frozen all the time.
Yeah.
So
whatever.
Anyway, so just real quick, the 1 to 6 year olds, we had a really cute fireman family. And I don't know, because you were doing things live out of the station.
I was playing the Halloween music.
Yeah. And they made up a wagon that looked like a fire truck, and they had their little kids dressed up in fireman garb and, pulled them around from that standpoint. We had a Basically, CP3D or 3.0. You're the Star Wars
CP3. Now you got me messed up. CP3.0. Thank you.
Okay, 3P3.0.
R2D2.
Nope, no R2D2. We needed a short guy like you to do that one. Okay. All right. Okay. We had a couple of dragons, pirates. The greatest one, and you'll see this. We had a guy drop. You know who Bob Ross is?
Yes.
Okay. Had a guy drop like Bob Ross. You saw that?
I snuck out at the end of the night to take a look at what was left around town. I saw Bob Ross.
Ross with the painting the mural over somebody's face.
Yeah. And then the lady had her face in the picture.
In the picture.
Cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. Okay. Marshmallow Man. I could have done that.
Oh.
I mean, Okay.
Why'd you wear it today?
Well, I gave my Michelin tire suit away. Okay.
All
right. Woody family.
Yes.
Okay. I didn't see them. Of course, more pirates. I talked about that already. And one of the cool things, the Stevens County Stompers.
I saw them.
You saw
too.
them and the dancing Tyrannosaurus Rexes?
Yeah, they were right in front of the Aaron Huff Cultural Center. Yeah.
So
I was feeling bad because the Halloween music was thumping, and they're trying to play their music and clog. I don't know
clogging away.
And I don't think it worked out very well for them. I'd like to apologize if you're with the cloggers.
Well,
but I couldn't control the Halloween music. I mean, I couldn't control the speakers.
Right. Yeah. So. Yeah. But they could have done the Monster Mash.
That's true.
Because
I didn't go out. They might have been waiting until I played something good and then clogged to it.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah, they were having a good time.
Right.
So anyway, those will all be announced. They'll be coming out here shortly. Sandy's putting. In fact, I say, Sandy, send me a list. So she sent me this handwritten list that's hieroglyphics, and said, "Good luck in reading my writing." And,
Let me see that. Wow, that doesn't even make sense.
I know, it's all over the board.
Yeah. I'm going to put, here, read this. It looks like a maze that you're supposed to follow.
Yeah, well, I used to tell people when I couldn't read their writing, they wanted job security because they had to interpret it.
Yes.
So
now please come interpret your notes.
Okay, and then City Sidewalks.
Yes.
We have a featured speaker for City Sidewalks on December 1st. I think I texted you that, so I don't know who that is yet, but, it's always nice to have a surprise guest. But City Sidewalks, they're going to participate in the Christmas tree lighting on December 3rd. That's an event, as you know, when Jim Caruso was here the other day. So it'll go from 5 to 7. The tree lighting's at 6 o'clock.
You always say it's a mystery guest, and it's always Debbie.
Yeah.
So we'll have Debbie Akers for City Sidewalks.
City Sidewalks. Okay. All right. And then Saturday, local business, it'll have their Scream and Deal type thing, that you can go around. It's not really a sidewalk sale. It's a sidewalk celebration, probably is the best way to look at it. Basically Farmers Market is back this year. It's not comfortable because of the COVID thing of using Melanie's building over there, because it just
they can space it out in the other rooms.
So what they did is they rented a big top, and they're closing off 3rd Street East, where the new mural is.
Yes.
Between that and Farmers Market, and there'll be a big top down that street.
All right.
And so
that's the place they usually kind of shut it down because you can access all those businesses from anywhere.
Right.
So,
yeah, and it doesn't, you have an arterial problem because of, Main Street. The county and the state they don't like you shutting that down. But and I was on a call last night with the Creative District and Brad Schaefer, of course he's the honcho for the farmers market, and he said they have a few booth space left. I think he said about 6. So if you're a vendor and you want to be in the farmers market Christmas fair, it's pretty simple. You just email him at info@ChuilaFarmersMarket.com, all one word.
.org. Is it a .com? Okay.
He told me .com.
Okay.
So, I better confirm.
He's the honcho, as you said.
He's the honcho. Yeah, he's the man in charge. You think you know?
Just Google it, and you'll get there, and you'll be able to email him from the website.
Okay,
it's that easy.
There is that thought. The higher you go up the ladder, the less you know. That type of thing. But so, anyways, I'm pretty excited about that. As far as
it'll be here before we know it, won't it?
I was thinking about that as I got up this morning, and I'm kind of collecting my thoughts, in my morning meditation time, and I'm thinking, where did the year go?
No kidding.
That's kind of the way I looked at it. So, anyway, we'll have a Mr. and Mrs. Claus, holiday caroling, hot cocoa, and much more.
That's right.
And there's a rumor out that Scott might dress as an elf.
I'm dressed like an elf every day, right?
I know it. Exactly. Okay. So it's not much for him. We'll give him some pointed shoes and a pointed hat.
That's the only thing I'm missing is the curly shoes. I already got the hat.
So anyway, and then just real quick on the Creative District, we have what we're calling an artisan or artist gathering tomorrow at Quartzsite at 6:00, and basically what we are looking for is it's more of a socialization thing, trying to pull the artists and makers and those individuals together to kind of get to develop a I hate the word group. I mean, but to pull together ideas and concepts and stuff, because we're developing a creative council for the district, and the creative council will help advise the district board on what direction to take going forward. Because, infrastructure-wise, I think we got a pretty good handle on the way that's set up right now. But, I came out of the business world, so it's pretty finite and pretty direct. Gets things done, but it doesn't have a whole lot of artist element built into it. So basically, we'll do our first one tomorrow night at Quartzsite, and then the plan is to do one a month from that point forward at various locations.
All right, and give people a chance to have input.
Have input, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, in a really fairly informal setting, so, we threw away, let's ask questions, put notes on the board, and, stuff like that. Now, we're going to ask you to fill out some stuff so we know we don't miss anything, but it'll be really very, very informal. Right. And you know what I'm excited about? We got
at the brewery?
Yes, it's a brewery. That's one. Yeah, that's number one. Yeah. And the other one is, I didn't know we had a lady lady chainsaw artist in town.
We do?
Yeah.
Wow.
And so I'm thinking, man, and then I'm mentioning that to Loretta, and she goes, yeah, my mom ran into her. She's really does cool stuff.
Nice.
And then I'm thinking, and her mom ran into her at Rocktoberfest. Now, we both know Loretta's mom's 91 years old.
She was in the park at the rock show?
I guess.
I missed her because I would have put that on camera because I was feeding right to right to Facebook sometimes
really?
When I was broadcasting.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
wow.
I'm thinking to myself, okay, all right, how'd they let her out of her?
So she was the one running through the park screaming.
That's right, with a walker. Okay, well, that's enough of me,
All
or
right.
us, or where, or what.
That's enough of Mike Bentz. That deserves some applause. And on to our first guest for today. You probably saw her pop up on the camera if you're watching along. With the Park Avenue Players, it's Kathryn Patton. Good morning. I didn't have your mic up. Say it again.
Good morning.
Good morning. All right.
Good morning.
And you're a theater person, so I don't have to tell you to project at all.
Oh, no, I am there.
All right. I can tell. Yeah.
See that voice inflection?
Yeah.
It's got a 40.
Wow. Wow. All right, so we just got through a huge play at the Center for the Arts. Mm-hmm. I was surprised to hear we have a one-act play festival coming right behind it.
Right behind it. We are so busy right now. We are just growing and growing and growing. We're really excited about it.
All right. And it's nice that we've got this big space because the social distancing was perfect for a little shop of horrors. Mm-hmm. When I showed up, I was like, wow, this is going to work out really well. And it's cool, and people are kind of coming usually in couples anyways.
That's right.
So you can keep them herded together, all romantically. So take your date out this weekend.
This weekend. It's right here.
Wow.
It's like 3 days, too, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. So we're going to kind of turn it over for you. And tell us about the festival. Let's start off with what inspired you to do this, and then give us the rundown of the shows.
Well, I was very fortunate to be asked to be a member of the board for the Tooele Center for the Arts.
So for PACA?
Yes, same thing.
Okay.
Nobody knows what PACA stands for.
All right.
So we're trying to move
Performing and Cultural Arts. I know,
Yes,
but you're
yeah.
trying to move past that.
Yep,
Okay.
yep. Trying to get to Tooele Center for the Arts so people understand what it actually is. But in Theater Workshop of Owensboro in Kentucky, where I was involved for years and years and years, a friend of mine started a juried one-act play festival. And they had so many new people get involved. And so I just kind of used their program to kind of get us started. This is our first annual one-act play festival. And while it is not a juried show, our idea is to get people involved and let them know that you can be in the theater and not have to spend 8 weeks rehearsing. You don't have to learn enough lines to speak for 2 hours. You don't have to sing songs every time. That you can have a wonderful theatrical experience in 10 minutes.
Well, now you said it's not juried, but you do have some original some original plays, right?
We do, and we may go to a juried show, but we do have
That's
two.
cool.
I know,
That is very cool.
Right.
And this fits right into with what you're doing with the creative district, Mike.
It does,
Yeah.
actually, and just to give you a pat on the back, our Facebook page on the Creative District, we decided to kind of ramp that up and use it a lot. So whenever I see things like the one-act play brochure, and then I steal it and put it on the
we love that.
and so basically I posted that last Friday, and I actually sent these to Sharon yesterday. And this is without boosting. I mean, there's no money into it at all.
Right.
As of this morning, we've had 565 people take a look at it, and 11 people share it.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Which is fantastic.
Oh,
That's awesome. That's free advertising, baby.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Yes, I will take it.
You'll take it, yes.
Yeah.
So, and of course, I have no idea what a one-act play is, as you know, as we were talking earlier. But if nothing else, I am going to figure out with my bum leg how to hobble in there with my cane and make fun of Joe.
Okay.
We'll build your ramp if you need it, okay? We'll make sure.
Okay.
And Joe is performing as well as we are showcasing one of his shows. So he wrote a one-act play that Bud Evans and Jade Briggs is in.
Ooh.
Yeah, so it's going to be awesome. And it's very short. It's like 6 minutes.
Okay.
And it is cute, and it's thoughtful, and it's funny, and he did a great job, especially on something that short.
Right.
To get all of that involved, included, you've got to have great actors too, and they're very good at what they're doing.
Well, I know Joe, and that's about perfect for his attention span.
Boy, is that true.
You're going to get a phone call really soon.
I
know.
hope so. Bring it on, Joe.
That'll work. But when we put this out the first time, we got 3 new people. We have one person that's never even seen a show before, never even seen a play. We have one that was involved with stage time, but hasn't done anything since she became an adult, and she's involved. And we have a woman who's not been on the stage for over 8 years, and she's phenomenal. And the two of them are going to be together. And Deanna Barnes, who had her director's debut with The Odd Couple,
Which was another fabulous Chewila play.
And it was sold out. I mean, she did a wonderful job.
Yeah, that was the top of my list, and now it's up there fighting for first with a Little Shop of Horrors.
Shop,
So,
yeah.
So-
It should be, too, because they're both excellent.
Yeah.
But Jade is her granddaughter. And so she's able to direct her granddaughter and a coworker from Safeway together with the show. So it's really very, very eventful from a community standpoint.
Sure.
It's very nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, so you brought a lot of new people into the Center for the Arts and involved in this one-act festival.
It's very important that people understand that the actors on stage, an awful lot of people don't want to be on stage, but they think the theater is awesome. Well, there are almost 3 times more people that work behind the scenes than are ever on the stage. So between makeup, lighting, sound, props, stage management, program insertions, doing with graphic arts, I mean, pick something. And you can volunteer with us and be part of the theater group. And it's an open group. I'm relatively new to town. And they've just opened their arms to me and said, what do you want to do? It's like, yes. And so we were just really growing and doing lots of new things.
Well, theater kind of inspires that family feeling and camaraderie. I remember it from high school. Here in Chewila, the theater program, it's really neat. Now, I did it with Sherry Frizzell, so she was before Janet's, because I'm really old. And it was one of the best experiences of my childhood was theater in school. And you take these kids that come from, different cliques. You know, maybe you've got the jocks and you got the nerds, and over here's the stoners. Well, you throw them all into a room together, and they start doing plays, and they become this bonded family. It is magic. And the feeling that you get at the end of a play, if you've never done one, Mike, there is nothing like it. You hear the word natural high, but you will not experience it until you finish a play. I imagine it can be the same for people in sports. When they run the big race or when they're in the Olympics or something and they finish, it's that kind of awe-inspiring feeling. Absolutely amazing. And I think since we got a superintendent coming in, I'm going to say, get theater back in schools.
Well, let me address that, because he has been very, very wonderful to work with. And Janet McLaughlin, who does the stage time for the kids, she's actually working it out so that the high schoolers can get credit.
Nice.
for theater since she's a certified
Nice.
teacher.
Nice.
So it is. So they're working with us. And I did want to make sure that I said something about people who are in high school. Kids are in high school. If you want to be involved with theater, come on. We can use you in plays as young adults or even younger, if you can play a younger person. We would love to have more young people involved.
So how many one-act plays are there?
Well, in this, we're having 5.
Okay.
And we also have Tristan Saylor that's going to be singing, who won the Chihuahua's Got Talent show.
We want to say that in 2019.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then we also have Eric Stevens, who is he's been traveled all over the world as a musician. Magician.
Magician.
Sorry, yeah. Excuse me.
He's been in here playing his tricks before.
Oh, he's awesome.
Yes,
and so
yes.
he's so talented. And he was the voice
Of the
Audrey 2.
Of Audrey 2, The Plant and Little Shop of Horrors. He did a
Yes.
phenomenal job. He sounded, I don't want to say just like the movie or anything like that, but he did.
We did have that Levi Stubbs, accent kind of going on.
He
was
did.
excellent.
He nailed the voice of the Plant big time, and he thundered across the theater. It was awesome.
Well, and he's also the lead character in the play that I'm directing for January called Over the River and Through the Woods. So he's so
Wow.
talented.
He is.
He's so
He is.
talented.
He is. We are the first radio station actually on the planet that's done magic on the radio, and we did it with Eric
Well,
Stevens. So.
I think that's a big check mark for you. Absolutely.
When I thought, I was like, we really can't do magic on the radio, can we? But it was him that pulled it off with. Now, of course, it was on YouTube and we were broadcasting that. But
Right.
there's so many people listening in their cars and at work.
Right.
But he was so descriptive in the magic tricks he was doing and funny. It worked. So.
Oh, he was-
All right.
he's wonderful.
Well, you put together some
Fantastic.
stellar people for this show. All right. So I've got the sheet. Unless you have it memorized, you want me to run down times?
Well, I can. I can.
Okay, go ahead.
So on Friday and Saturday, we start the show at 7. The doors are open at 6:30, and on Sunday it's at 2:00. Doors open at 1:30.
Okay.
And we would love to have you come and join us. And there will be a way there for you to sign up if you want to be involved with the next show. Which the next show that Park Avenue Players is doing is Over the River and Through the Woods in January, and would love to have some volunteers. It'll be a great time for people to step up and say, I just want to do something, and we'll figure out a place that you fit just fine.
Like I said, if you're scared to be on stage, you can be the sweeper.
Absolutely, there you go.
You can do anything.
I need somebody
swing
to-
a hammer.
I need somebody to mop the stage right now.
Yeah.
Stack the chairs.
Yeah.
Space them out.
I think that's what the producer does.
Oh,
I clean the floors. Yeah.
It's like I had a guy show up at one of our events, and he says, I really want to be involved, but I don't know anything about radio. Can I, vacuum and come in and clean and stuff? And I looked at him, I said, what's your favorite type of music? And he said, Motown. I said, you're going to be a DJ. And when you're done with your show, then you can clean the bathroom.
There you go.
And that's Jeff Newman, the host of our Motown show.
Oh, really?
So
Wow, okay.
I need to learn from you. I need
Yeah.
to hang out with you more.
And you can twist them once you got them in the door. You can twist them into what you want them. That's all.
There you
That's
go.
right, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And eventually they'll see everybody else having so much fun, and they'll get on stage.
Then you figure out who can't say no.
That's right.
Oh, that's my favorite.
Right. Tickets are available at Acres and Valley Drug online at our.show/Chihuahua/1 act. Let's see. Chihuahua Center for the Arts, 405 North 3rd Street East. And you got a phone number for more information, 936-9333. All right. Kathryn, Patton, did I forget anything?
You did not. Thank you so
Okay.
very much for having me today.
It was fun. You come in and crash the show anytime you want.
Oh, I'd love to.
All right.
Yeah.
Especially on Wednesdays. This is kind of fun.
Every day's like
Say,
that.
could I hear that again? Especially when?
Especially Wednesdays. Sharon Ludwig told me that you are outstanding. And so,
I am?
Yeah.
Oh, Sharon.
Look at that, Mike Bence. Big round of applause for Benzie.
So is that why she sent me a card asking me to volunteer, and then gave me another?
Probably.
Okay.
Did you
all
get an
right.
envelope from her on your keyboard today?
No, I didn't. I didn't get an investment opportunity from her today.
Just be lucky I didn't leave one on your keyboard.
Oh, yeah. I am happy. That's good.
All right, thank you so much. Another
you.
round of
Thank you.
applause.
You bet.
All right, Kathryn Patton. One act plays this weekend. Get out and support theater in Chihuahua. All right, we are going to go to break.
Okay.
And when we come back, we're going to have our school superintendent for the Chihuahua School District, Mr. Jason Perrins, with us. So stand by. It's a big Wednesday here at KCHW, and we'll be right back after news and this word from a sponsor.
KCHW.
I live in Colville, Washington. I just wanted you guys to know you got the best radio station. Man, I love it. I absolutely love it. Thanks a lot. Keep up the good work.
KCHW. Chihuahua.
Your KCHW morning show made possible by a donation from God-Fearing Brothers Auto Center. God-Fearing Brothers specializes in auto services, including repair, maintenance, and detailing. They also stock tires, provide collision repairs including glass, and they have an auto sales lot on the corner of Highway 395 and Main Street at the light. For more information, you can visit the Auto Service Center at 806 East Main in Chihuahua. Find them online at godfearingbrothers.com or by phone at 509-935-6414.
The Public News Service Daily Newscast, November the 10th, 2021. I'm Mike Clifford. During the COVID health emergency, the federal government made school meals available for free to all students, regardless of their financial situation. Children's advocates are now urging Congress to make that change permanent.
Eric Saviano with Nebraska Appleseed says the move would reduce child hunger and food insecurity and put an end to lunch line shaming when families fall behind on bills.
Before all meals were free for all kids, kids could get looked at differently if they were the ones going into the cafeteria before school or if they were grabbing a lunch during school. But when it's free to everybody, more kids have access and nobody's getting judged.
Some school cashiers have taken lunch trays away from children with so-called lunch debt, and some schools stamp the student's hand with a message to parents, "I need lunch money." Critics of continuing the free meals for all program cite high costs, and others worry it could lead to dependency on government assistance. I'm Eric Galatis.
Supporters say making free student meals permanent also would cut administrative costs, including untold hours spent by principals and teachers not spent on education. CNBC reports the House committee probing the January 6th Capitol riot Tuesday subpoenaed ex-Trump White House officials. That includes the former press secretary, Kayleigh McEnany, to testify. Other former White House officials subpoenaed include the senior advisor, Stephen Miller, a personnel director, John McEntee, Deputy Chief of Staff, Christopher Liddell, and Keith Kellogg, and National Security Advisor to the former Vice President, Mike Pence. Several environmental organizations are appealing a decision made last month by Allegheny County to approve an air permit for a large gas-fired power plant that could pose environmental and public health risks.
Invenergy's proposed Allegheny Energy Center would be a 639-megawatt plant located in Elizabeth Township, south of Pittsburgh. A coalition of 4 environmental groups says that under the permit, Invenergy would be able to turn the plant on and off frequently, which can lead to unlawful spikes in air pollution. Alex Baumstein of coalition member Clean Air Council says the regional pollution caused by this type of facility would exacerbate asthma and cause heart health problems over time.
Southwestern Pennsylvania has some of the worst air in the country. We're all trying to fix that, and this takes us exactly in the wrong direction. And those types of pollutants, they generally stress a person's system, and people who are already vulnerable are put in a lot worse situation.
A health department spokesperson declined to comment due to ongoing legal matters. I'm Emily Scott.
This is PNS. Now to Ohio, where a bill dubbed by opponents as an anti-free speech bill is up for a possible vote. More on that from our Mary Sherman.
House Bill 109 increases the penalties for rioting and creates the offenses of riot assault and riot vandalism. It also increases the penalty for disorderly conduct when the offender hinders the movement of people during a riot or illegal protest. David Lima with the Northeast Ohio chapter of Showing Up for Racial Justice contends it will discourage Ohioans from participating in civil demonstrations for fear of legal action.
The language is broad, it's vague, the laws are duplicative and unnecessary, and they have actually created new sets of crimes with significantly enhanced penalties and costly fines.
The measure also creates the offense of bias-motivated intimidation that prohibits a person from harming another person or property based on the victim's status as a first responder. Proponents say it supports the right to peacefully assemble while holding those who break the law accountable.
Newly returned veterans or even those who've been back for years face obstacles, and a big one is how to pick the best health care.
AARP State President John Vasquez says there are more than 17 million veterans in the U.S., and even before the COVID-19 pandemic, they and their families struggled to decide which healthcare option would serve them best. He says despite their service to the country, too many veterans are not getting the healthcare they've earned.
60% of all veterans are eligible for VA healthcare services. Less than half of those eligible veterans actually use VA health benefits, according to a RAND study.
AARP has introduced a new navigator tool to help veterans and their families determine their healthcare needs. I'm Roz Brown.
Finally, our Eric Tegenoff reports for Soundbite Soars as leaders from around the world meet in Glasgow. The U.S. plan to tackle climate change continues to come into focus.
The Build Back Better Act in Congress would invest about $550 billion to cut the country's carbon emissions. The United Nations Climate Change Conference, or COP26, is taking place in Glasgow, Scotland through Friday. Karen Fitzpatrick is a commissioner in Atlantic County, New Jersey. She hopes countries can come up with plans at COP26 to tackle this issue together.
It's a small world, and if Europe is doing it and Canada is doing it, but the United States is not doing it, it's not going to work for anybody.
Last week, Congress passed a $1 trillion infrastructure package. Supporters are now pushing for the bigger budget reconciliation measure, which they say gives the Biden administration the tools it needs to cut the country's carbon pollution to half of 2005 levels by 2030. Republicans remain opposed to the legislation.
This is Mike Clifford for Public News Service, member and listener supported, heard on radio stations big and small. Find our trust indicators at publicnewsservice.org.
You're listening to Northern Lights Public Radio on 102.7 KCHW, Chewelah, Loon Lake, Clayton.
All right, go ahead. Make fun of the theme music as we roll back in.
So Jason, do you like this theme music?
I can't hear it.
He doesn't have headphones.
Oh, he doesn't have headphones?
No.
Oh,
all right.
Okay. Yeah, well, good. You can't hear it.
If it's 80s music, I'm okay with that.
Okay. So, is it going to stop?
Morning. Yeah, don't listen to Bance. He doesn't know what he's talking about. 7:58 as we roll back into part 2, KCHW Chewelah. We're going to have an interview in just a few minutes. We're holding off a little bit. We have our superintendent in the studio from the Chewelah School District, Mr. Jason Perrins. Welcome to the studios, Jason.
Thank you very much.
All right,
Thank you for having me.
All right, big round of applause. I'm going to lift my headphones so you can hear it. There you go.
Wow.
All right. Big round of applause.
Okay.
All right. So he had posted 8:15. We're a little early this morning, but we don't want to start the interview. So we're just going to play around, do a few fun things, and he can make fun of us if he wants to.
That's right. Anytime. Make fun of him, not me.
No.
All right.
Okay. All right.
All right, big guy, who do we have for local birthdays this morning?
Oh, today's the 10th, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I got to verify that all the time.
It's because you're retired.
Because you're retired, you don't even know what day of the week it is.
Is this a day I have to do something? And my days are like that. I woke up Saturday going, I don't have nothing to do. And then somebody knocked on my door and it was like, oh my gosh, we're having a noon meeting on Saturday.
Okay. All right. Well, happy birthday to Russell Smith.
All right, Russell.
And Haley Gardner or Gothner.
Okay, I can't help you. It's too far away. You want to spell it? You can't see it anyway.
You can't. Yeah, I can't see it anyway. I'm sitting there looking like this.
All right,
get better lighting in here for our old people.
Oh man, it's all about the cameras. That's why the lights are funny. It's all about the cameras. Russell Smith. We also have an anniversary Dale Linda Store and Haley Gonthier.
Gonthier. Okay.
All right. If I pronounced it right.
Yeah, but for those of you that are watching, he had this 6 inches from his face.
They can see on the camera.
Okay. All right.
Okay. All right. Let's go with celebrity birthdays. They're a little larger font for you.
Can I increase the font on this computer, please?
Yeah. All right.
Okay. We'll start out with actually a pretty good comedian.
Okay.
All right. Sinbad is 65.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Make you feel old?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
All right. Who else you got?
Okay. Mackenzie Phillips, at One Day of Fame, is 62.
Wow.
Wasn't she the daughter of like Wilson.
Bonnie, her name was, I can't remember, Bonnie Francis or something like that was the actress, was the mom. Mackenzie Phillips was the tall, older daughter.
Yeah, but it's of the mom and papas.
Yeah. She is the daughter. She is the daughter of one of the singers of that. Yes,
okay.
yes.
Now, am I aging myself?
You are. It's so old we can't remember what it was.
Okay, and then actually one of my favorite shows, Downton Abbey. Hugh Bonneville is 58.
And it's Downton Abbey, not Downtown Abbey.
Oh, Downton,
And it's your favorite show, really?
Yeah. That's because I'm cultured and you're not.
Oh.
Okay, then we have Tommy Davidson, The In Living Color, is 58.
All right.
Okay, yeah, Scott's giving me a bad time,
Michael Jai White is 57. Do you know who he is?
Was he on like I don't know, Cosby Show or something?
No, he might have been, but I know him just as an adult because he is a B actor, does martial arts movies.
Oh, okay, okay, all right. Okay, Tracy Morgan from 30 Rock is 53.
All right.
Okay, he's actually a pretty good comedian, too.
Yes.
All right. Ellen Pompeo is 52 from Grey's Anatomy. You probably have that on your timer, so you watch it every day, right?
I don't do medical shows.
You don't?
No.
Well, why?
Because I faint at the sight of blood. I was donating blood, and they picked up the bag to show me how full it was, how fat.
Really?
And I was broadcasting live, and she says, "Wow, it usually takes 10 minutes to fill up the bag. It's only been 5, and you're done." And she showed it to me, and it was lights out.
You got to get that blood pressure down, Scott. Okay. All right. Walton Goggins from The Unicorn, Ant-Man and the Wasp is 50.
Okay.
Okay. Heather Matarazzo.
Okay, whatever.
Sounds like something you eat. Okay. Lily the Princess Diaries is 39. And now we're getting down to where I have no clue.
All right.
Okay. Josh Beck. Actually, Drake and Turner and Hooch. That's a great show, too.
Uh-huh.
It was 35. Taron Egerton from Rocket Man. He's actually, I saw him on something the other night, too. He's a good actor.
Okay.
Really. He's 32.
Can't even picture him.
Yeah, I can picture him. I can't remember the name of the show. Kingsman. Okay. All right. Zoe Deutsch is Zombieland. You ought to know that one. You're a zombie freak.
I am.
Okay. Double Tap and Set It Up is 27. And Kierman Shipka from Mad Men, Chilling Adventures of Sabrina is 22.
I'm not into zombies. I just drive an RV off the set of out of the set of Z Nation. I'm not into them, though.
You're not into them?
I just have a truck from the TV show, but I'm not into it.
Okay. All right. Okay. So, Scott, did anything happen today?
It did. I'm going to do history so I can sound smart in front of the superintendent.
That's right. He's keeping score. Do you have his scorecard?
More than that, but go ahead, give it a shot.
Oh, he's got the insult thing down. He's going to fit in perfect.
That's
here.
right.
All right. I'm going to start off in 1775 when Mike Bentz was born, and the U.S. Marines were organized under the authority of the Continental Congress. Yay, Mike.
Yeah.
1871, journalist explorer Henry M. Stanley found missing Scottish missionary David Livingstone in Central Africa and delivered his famous greeting, "Dr. Livingstone, I presume." 1951, direct dial coast-to-coast telephone service began as Mayor M. Leslie Denning of Englewood, New Jersey, called his counterpart in Alameda, California.
Ooh, I wonder if they're sister cities.
I bet they are now. 1982, a Vietnam Veterans Memorial opened to visitors in Washington, D.C. That was 82.
82, boy, that's starting to age me. I remember when that happened, actually.
All right, then a fun one, 1999. This is when Albert Falks Jr. told his New Jersey neighbors about being in the CIA and making secret weapons. They took it with many grains of salt. Then cops busted in his place and found a 600-pound operational homemade flamethrower mounted on wheels. He was trying to sell it for $10,000 on eBay.
See, I can see you with a flamethrower.
I can see me with a flamethrower, too.
It'll be pulled behind the zombie truck.
Yes. Hey, Mike, I'm here to mow your lawn.
Yeah, I'm going to rake those leaves. We'll just incinerate them.
All right, 2003, Pretoria, South Africa. An unidentified man robbed an office, taking a computer, cell phones, and cash, and then fleeing in one of the workers' cars. The thief must have been really proud of that car, since the cops spotted him later that day washing and waxing it in full view of anyone and everyone.
Okay.
All right. 2008, over 5 months after landing on Mars, NASA declared the Phoenix mission concluded after communications with the lander were lost.
Ooh,
but we still got that one that's, going on now? 25
actually,
years and
I
it's
read
still
a
talking?
Newsfeed this morning that there's...
Opportunity,
yeah. And it's like a helicopter can go up and down.
That's the new one.
Is that the new one?
That's the new one.
And they thought it'd only be able to do 5 flights, and it's doing many more than that.
Excellent. So they always seem to underestimate with the drones and their robots. And
see, I still have a tough time connecting Earth to Mars and how you can tell something to do something that far away.
It's the internet. I'm kidding.
Okay, Scott, I want you to prove that. And I heard that SpaceX is taking reservations.
Yes.
And they were up to 700 as of this morning.
What is the ticket price?
Well, they said 9 million pesos. So what's a peso's worth about $20 to 20 pesos to the dollar right now? So, you do the math.
$500,000 somewhere around there?
Yeah, something like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
You can cover me?
Well, now that I can't now since I got these investment opportunities from KCHW this morning.
Those are just memberships. It's a small fee.
Okay.
All right. So, by the way, Mars, totally inhabited by robots. All right. 2012 votes in Florida were finalized, giving Barack Obama the winning number of electoral votes in his second term as president of the United States. That darn Florida. Let's just, let's kick them out of the union because all they do is cause problems.
That's right. Yeah. Remember the chaff days?
Uh-huh. And 2020, lockdown was named Word of the Year by Collins English Dictionary. Those buggers. Yep.
Oh, it'd be interesting to figure out how many words came out of COVID.
Oh,
yeah.
I mean,
Uh-huh.
A whole nother dictionary.
A whole different dictionary, yeah. I mean,
of depression. All right, special events. We go to those. We get those from Mike Bentz.
All right. Okay. Well, area code day.
All right.
I can remember when there was no area code.
Really?
Yeah. You remember the old party line? It was like 3 digits. The people would call you, and you were like 3 rings. And your neighbor might be 1 ring, and another neighbor might be 2 rings, and that's how you knew it was coming to you.
Wow, you are old, because I've never heard anything like this.
Me neither.
Did you use, like, numbers in your telephone, too?
No,
Were you like,
it had numbers.
4556?
But it was I think it was only 5 digits, and it was a rotary dial type thing. And maybe it's because I grew up in rural Montana. I don't know. But if you wanted to listen in on your neighbors and say, okay, Jason's 2 rings. I wonder what he's up to. So I could pick it up and listen in.
That's scary.
Yeah. Right. Well, okay. All right. Enough of Mike and his past. Okay. And you told me not to talk about food today. So
I'm sorry.
Skip the next one.
No, you can talk about it. I hate cupcakes.
Okay. All right. Vanilla Cupcake Day.
I'm just lying.
Ooh, you know what the latest thing Loretta made? It was fantastic.
Oh, what?
Lemon poppy seed cupcakes.
Oh, and I never got one.
Do you hate cupcakes because of what they do to you?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I love them.
Yeah. Yeah. The after effect.
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Well, Sesame Street Day.
And what did I do to offend Loretta? She never sends treats anymore.
It's because they don't leave the house.
You eat them before they get out the door. Okay.
Actually, I'm on a big diet right now.
I can't tell.
A big diet, does that mean you eat a lot?
I eat a lot.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I've got this bum knee.
He's trying to trim down for the knee.
And I'm trying to trim down because the doctor said we can't give you a new knee until you lose some weight.
Oh.
And you know what my fact of the day is, Jason?
What's that?
What is that?
For every 10 pounds you're overweight, it's like 6 to 1 to your knee. So it puts 60 pounds on pressure on your knee.
Oh.
And so you know what the doctor told me? Mike, you're carrying around about 4 bags of cement on your knee.
Wow.
That's a visual.
Ouch.
Yeah. Kind of made me think, maybe I have 1 less beer a day.
Yeah.
And 1 less vanilla cupcake.
Vanilla cupcake. Okay. All right. So let's move on to Sesame Street Day.
All right.
Okay. All right. Do you still watch Sesame Street?
Me want cookie. Back to food.
Okay. All right. Okay. Forget Me Not Day.
Huh?
Well, I was going to be serious, and he just blew it. Okay. All right. And as you alluded to earlier,
yes,
it's Bulldog Day.
It's Marine Corps Day.
Marine Corps Day. Okay.
Nice. Semper Fi.
That's
All
right. And I'm sure he's listening because he loves to listen when he's working in his shop. I'll just say I understood when I first met this guy, and I said, "You're a retired Marine." He says, "Mike, I'm only tell this once. There is no such a thing as a retired Marine."
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
All right. Speaking of a Marine, if you are a veteran of any kind, what can you do today, Superintendent Perrins?
Hey, wonderful. Thank you. If you are a veteran in the area between 10 and 11, you can drive by Jenkins High School, and you'll give cookies and coffee.
All right.
And so we welcome all veterans to swing by for a treat and gratitude for their service.
All right. Very nice. It's funny the unique things we have to come up with due to COVID.
Right.
All right. So number of the day is 35 million, and that is the value of money accidentally thrown away each day
around the world.
Wouldn't you like to get your little fingers on that?
Yeah. Okay, Jason.
Wow.
What if you could figure out a way to find that 35 million? How would that work with the schools?
Oh, wow. Boy, that's
that's what I was looking for. Oh, wow.
Okay. Yeah, I could do a lot with that. Yep.
All right, we're moving on to bits and breaks as we work toward our interview here in about 5 minutes. It's about cats today because, well, Scott loves cats. And if you've seen my cat Mooch in the window, you know a recent study found up to a third of American cats are overweight, including Mooch. Here are some signs your cat needs to drop a few pounds, like Benzie. You deserve that one,
I
Benzie.
deserve that one.
All right.
Because I called you an elf earlier.
Confused guests at the radio station constantly mistake Mooch for a beanbag chair.
Oh, jeez.
I thought he was a footstool.
She.
I'm sorry.
All right. She no longer cleans herself unless coated in Cheese Whiz.
Oh, jeez.
Luxurious, shiny black fur replaced with mint green polyester pantsuit. Mm-hmm. Be careful where you sit in the radio station. There is cat hair everywhere. All right. It's no longer safe to lift her without a spotter. She doesn't even like to be picked up anymore. She only catches mice that get trapped in her gravitational pull. And snakes. Remember the snake story?
Snakes there, yeah.
All right. And her enormous gut keeps our hardwood floors freshly buffed. All right.
She hire out?
All right. It's kind of cool, though. You can put her on a tile floor and just spin her to clean it.
Is that what it is? Okay.
All right. What do you consider a good deal? Why don't you take that one? Because you're Mr. Money.
Okay. All right. Okay. A study of a deal addict.
Okay.
Asked them to specify how low markdown had to be before they considered it a good deal.
Okay, this might be for me, actually.
Oh, it is. Yeah. Well, you're Mr. Donation. Okay. All right. Here's what they said. Apparel and shoes.
Yes.
69% thought 50% was a good deal.
This is going to be confusing, isn't it?
It is, actually. I'm thinking, okay. All right. Okay. See, 24%, 70% off was a good deal.
70% off is a good deal.
Yeah. Okay. So that means a quarter of the people won't replace their shoes until it's 70% off.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay.
People say that math isn't important.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I had a lady I met a long time ago. First time I met her, she walked up to me and she says, "You'll do well in business." And I go, "Why?" "Because you got good-looking shoes."
Okay.
People have talked about that, how important your shoes are or anything.
Right.
And I walked by a lady the other day, and she checked me out, but she didn't check me out. She looked at me,
exactly.
And then she went right to my shoes.
Yeah.
And I was like, eyes up here.
Yeah, but when you start wrapping your shoes with duct tape to hold them together, Scott, that's a sign.
Yeah, I was just like, I guess they are important. Wow.
Yeah. See,
No
that
wonder why I
lady
can't get a date. You can see my toes.
Yeah, that lady would say he's too cheap.
Yes.
Wow.
Look at the loafers. I bet you he spends a lot of time on his couch.
That's right. His loafers have no pennies. Okay, home goods.
Yes.
63% thought 50% off was a good deal. And 20% said 70% off was a good deal.
Okay.
All right. Home goods are like what? Furniture?
Yeah. Oh, no. I don't know. Maybe like blenders?
Blenders?
Vacuum cleaners,
Okay.
maybe?
Okay. All right. Okay. Restaurant and spas. Okay. 61% thought 50% off was a good deal. And 17% said 70% was off a good deal.
Huh.
So that means a fewer number of people are looking for a good deal, so they're willing to spend more.
Yeah, especially when it comes to restaurant and spas. You'll fork out a little more money.
That's right. Now, is that critical thinking in the education world?
No, you have to go deeper than that.
Okay. So he's saying I'm shallow.
Yes. No. I'm just saying that all those require you to spend money.
That's true.
So you're losing money in all those situations.
Okay. All right.
And that's never a good deal.
Okay. It's kind of like my wife out at the casino, right? She always celebrates a jackpot, but I never hear about the other side.
Right.
Okay. Same theory. Okay. Electronics, 52%. Thought 50% off was a good deal.
Okay.
I've never seen electronics that wasn't on sale. Have you?
No.
Okay.
It's part of the deal.
Part of the deal, yeah. 16%, 70% off was a good deal. And if you wait a year, it'll be obsolete and it'll be close to free.
You know, in the electronics world, though, that's one thing that typically does not go up in price is a television set.
Right.
Now, when the latest model comes out, yeah, it's $2,000, it's $4,000. But once it's been out, TVs have been, depending on the size, $200 to $500 forever.
Right.
They're the one thing that doesn't. Why is that? They don't experience inflation.
Yeah. They've actually gotten larger with the same price.
Yes.
Yeah. Exactly.
Nothing else does that.
Yeah.
Except TVs.
Yeah. And me.
Yeah, but you're shrinking.
Okay. I'm shrinking. That's right.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
If you got a smaller TV, the food on the TV would look smaller. You'd be less hungrier, and you gain less weight.
Okay. Well, I got to take the next one.
Okay.
Because you can't talk about yourself.
Oh, I knew this was going to be a dig.
Okay. 3 signs he's not the marrying kind. Ooh. Okay.
Yeah. Get ready, ladies. It's true.
Okay. All right. Your dates fall into a rigid pattern of dinner and going to bed.
By myself.
Oh, you want to see him, so you let it be by his rules.
Ooh. That doesn't sound very nice. That's not me.
Okay. He tells you he's not ready for a serious relationship, but you're really special and he really likes you.
And I really use the word really a lot. That's horrible, Mike. Now I'm never going to get a date. Oh, man.
Well, the mullet's looking pretty good. You need a little grease in it. A little Brill cream would work wonders.
Brill cream. All right.
And better shoes.
And better shoes, right.
They're Levi's. They're okay.
See, he's getting the hang of this.
Oh, man.
So if we gave him a tube of Brill cream and some clean shoes, shiny shoes, he'd probably get a date.
He has a chance.
Yeah.
And then he has to leave the studio.
That's true, too. No, but you can put him on YouTube.
Now I got the money guy and the superintendent making fun of me. Oh, man. This is just like being back in high school.
That's right.
All right. Thank you very much for playing along, Mike. Thank you very much for playing along, Mr. Superintendent. We're going to get down to the serious stuff now, though. Jason Perrins joining us from the Chewelah School District. Jason, welcome to the KCHW studios for real this time, all right?
Thank you very much for having me. Appreciate it.
First I want to apologize because you contacted me probably a couple months ago, and it's taken us a while to get this all worked out and get you on the air.
Yep.
Ongoing problems. This whole COVID thing messes things up. I know right now I've got a DJ that's out for a couple weeks with COVID, and that kind of scared us. But we made it through our week, and nobody else got it from in the studio. Mm-hmm. And I have a close friend. He's 97. And he has it. The nice thing about both of this is they were both vaccinated, and say their symptoms are very, very mild, and especially for my 97-year-old friend.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, really scary when he calls you and goes, "Guess what I caught?"
Yeah. Wasn't out fishing.
Yeah. So I'd like to start off today. I know Mike has a bunch of questions, too. We want to thank people that are joining us and let us know. Thank you for sending out that text messages to the parents.
Yes.
And you can also watch online today. We're on YouTube and Facebook, and you can just do KCHW Radio and find your way there. Also on our website on the listen page, like the link that our superintendent sent out there, kchw.org. Just click on the listen or watch icon on the homepage, and you'll get right there. Now, just give us a little bit of background. You're new to Chewelah, kind of maybe just a little bit of history and how you got here.
Okay. Well, I actually grew up in Spokane, so in the north area. I graduated from Meade High School in the late 80s, and then...
well, you're a local boy then.
Well, yeah, somewhat local, yes.
Yeah.
My grandfather and my homestead at Deer Park back out during the Depression, came up, and he was an educator there for like some 35, 40 years. So my dad was born and raised in Deer Park, and so as a young man and as a child, we went to Deer Park a lot, obviously, for family and cousins, and so I grew up in that area. But then I left, and so and I didn't really come back. So it's been about 35 or so years, 34 years. Was married and then moved, and then I've been on the west side most of the time. Graduated from University of Washington, then got my master's at WSU, and then I was teaching and a school principal in the Chehalis, Vancouver area, and that's what I've been doing the last 28 years, I guess. Mm-hmm. I did. My family and I went to South America, so we went there for about 4 years, and I was a educator, a principal there in Barranquilla, Colombia, so that was a great experience. And then came back, and so the last couple of years I've been looking for a superintendent position, and that's primarily what brought me back here, looking for a great community, a small community, one that I could build relationships with the community and the staff, and set some good goals together, work with a great school board. And when I was interviewed back in, I think it was April, I met the school board and the conversations in the community, and I really, really was drawn to this community. And that's what brought me back. So there is it's like a 30-year gap, I guess you might say, between, coming to this area. My grandfather golfed a lot, so as a teenager, I'd come up and we'd golf on the Chewila golf course. Right. And he died, he was like 94, 93, and so he played golf, and so I would come and, as a teenager, golf a lot with him, and skied here at 49 a couple times, but mostly Mount Spokane because I grew up right at the base of Mount Spokane, and so yeah, so I'm familiar with the community, but being gone so long, I mean, sure. I actually was driving around Meade area and I got lost. I mean, it's completely different.
Well, Chewila never changed until the last 10 years, so
yeah,
you didn't as much.
Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I came through here, but I didn't. I don't know Chewila. I can't say that I know Chewila, but Deer Park I'm very familiar with, although it's changed too. My mother passed away of cancer a couple years ago, and she's buried at the Deer Park Cemetery. And so that's where a lot of my relatives are. So I'm from the area.
So old stomping grounds, at least.
I guess you could say, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So.
And you enjoyed the experience of the interview experience, and obviously had some kind of connection with them because you got the job.
Yeah, and that's really what it takes. And I've interviewed and multiple times. Obviously, that's usually what happens before you get a position. The board, we talked about student achievement, and that's what was interesting. That's what I value, improving academics. And sometimes that's not always, in my experience, been the center of my experience with other school districts. They have too many other things that they're focused on. And I think the board and I, we gelled in that area. And also I sensed a need for planning and leadership and focus. And so that's one of the things that I love to do. I don't know how good I am at it, but that's one of the things that I enjoy to do. There wasn't a strategic plan, and I know that that's one of the things that we were going to talk about today.
And we needed one. Yeah. We've seen over the past several years that we've seen bonds and levies fail, and right. Which is really, really sad because they're things that our kids needed.
Yeah.
So we definitely need some planning.
Absolutely. And so, right. In fact, when I do a research on a district, and because I do a lot of homework and research about the community and not just about their academics, but other items, I couldn't find a strategic plan. And so I asked them, I said, where's your plan? How do you make decisions? And it's not to say that bad decisions were made, because I haven't seen any necessarily have been made, but as far as how to work for the future and how to project and know what to do, that's really what needs. And the strategic plan in itself has some value, but it's the process that has the greater value. And that's when you bring in the whole community, because Chewila schools must represent the community. And so someone from the outside, kind of, if that's me, or anybody that comes in and says, we're going to do this, you really have to have the voice of the community. And so for me, or even the administrative team, or even the staff, they alone can't do it. They can do a good job. I'm very impressed with the Chewila School District in many regards. But we can do to reach that, to turn that corner and become much greater. You need to have the community.
Yeah, I think the strategic plan, what kind of popped in my brain was my observation of the school district, and I've been here since 2013, is it was very reactionary.
Yeah.
And the problem with that is, the positive of that is you learn to think on your feet and make things
Sure.
happen.
Yeah.
The negative of that is that's all you're doing is you're trying to put a finger in the dike instead of planning into the future.
Yeah.
And so when I read through the stuff that I was telling you, the glossy brochure that was sent out.
Oh, right.
What jumped out at me to begin with was, wow, I've been here 9 years, and this is the first communication I've gotten from the school district, other than some kind of encouragement to vote for a bond or a levy. And those aren't negative, by the way.
No, of course.
That's there. And I'm thinking, well, maybe things are changing, And so, and then when you read through that, and it does talk about the planning process and how that went through and how they got the community involved. And I think what that does is it plants a seed where more people will raise their hand, I guess.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. I mean, my experience with working with people out of the school district has been stellar.
Yeah. Great people.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
But it's had kind of that perfect storm, a declining enrollment.
Mm-hmm.
They've got an aging population, which is, generally speaking, in my mind anyway, tax adverse, and so that creates an issue. And frankly, you made a comment the other day at the chamber that jumped out at me. Is Chewila needs to reach a critical mass of about 1,000 students? You said, because you're kind of below the line now as far as funding goes, because the number of students drive funding.
Yep.
And so that's kind of for size of the community, that's where it needs to be. And I was thinking about that. I can tell you in the last couple of years, with the growth that's happening in the golf course, it's coming in with younger families.
Good.
And in fact, I made a
because
comment.
I think it's that second part of Chewila that's killed our bond initiatives for the schools because of the older tax-adverse population.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's, my dad and I used to get in these big discussions about schools, and I remember when I grew up, my parents were real adamant about education. And in fact, they used to do these little group meetings for bonds and stuff in their home before they went to vote and stuff like that. But once, his last kid got out of high school, now all of a sudden they were just a bunch of crooks. And, and I looked at him and I said, boy, that's pretty hypocritical,
Right.
And so we would argue about that. But and I think an issue is transparency.
Sure.
I mean, and that was what I'm seeing coming out of the school district is way more transparency.
Yeah, and I think what you're saying, Mike, is true. And we have we just passed the capital levy.
Right.
Although the final votes are coming in today, but the percentages
they're there.
They're there.
Yeah.
And I first want to thank the community. I mean, it's significant. And it's supportive, and it's going to help us. But capital levy is just small little projects. And I sent out a flyer. You probably more communication, I think. In fact, going back to the board and the hiring, communication was one of their focuses too. They wanted to have a communication with the community, and so that's one of the things, Mike, that we're trying to improve on. So you should see more and continue to see more. But I was looking at some data online. It appeared that 20% of 50% of the voters that are registered voted. So there is still a large portion, and those numbers may have changed, but even if they change a little bit, it shows that the community still needs to be more involved. And so that's really, I feel like
there's a lot of voting apathy.
Yeah. Well, but see, that's the strongest voice that a community has.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I mean, you can get on the radio and you can talk to your neighbor, but that has no effect. But your vote does.
Right.
And I think people have lost that. And so your vote does matter. And
especially on the local and the regional.
Absolutely.
It is the one place where you can make a difference.
Yeah. And it's nice to have those conversations with your neighbor or at the golf course.
Right.
But they don't go anywhere. They dissipate in the air. But a vote doesn't. And not to mention that's one thing, but the thing that's most important to me or to the Chewila School District is that we can become a better district if more voices are involved. And sometimes people don't realize that. So the voters that are voting no, they're the ones I want to hear from most.
Right.
Because they're the ones that are going to help drive us in making better decisions. If all I have around me are great people who said education is great, well, that's not going to
Yeah.
It's like, hanging out with your friends is fun, but if you want to grow and develop, you've got to also include everybody. And so I want to be able to do that. And so one of the things that we're doing is that this event that we have, and I don't know if this is a good time to talk about it.
No,
but
go ahead.
It's been in the paper, but on Monday, November 15th, which is next Monday, actually,
yes,
at 7 p.m. at the Guess Elementary Library, and I'm hoping that so many people come, we move to the gym. But this is for the community. I'm not inviting my staff or employees to come, but I want the community to come. And so we can go through, this is part of the strategic plan. We need to know what's out there that we can tap into, resources, what are our weaknesses, okay? So the school district and the board want to know, okay, what are our weaknesses? And what are our strengths? And what are some of our threats? What's going to hurt this community, and what can we do to counteract that in the long-term planning? And so all this information is going to that strategic planning committee that meets, and there's about 30 people that are on that, which includes community members. And we have some phenomenal community members that are part of that team. And even Greg, our newly elected mayor, is on that team. And so we have a lot of people that want to contribute. And I really believe, just from my past experience in the last 25 years, that the more people you involve, the better outcome you're going to have. And that's that number that we're really looking for. So I invite all people in the community to attend that, and so we can hear your voice.
Okay. And even the ones that voted no, you want to talk to them.
They're the ones I want the front of the line. I mean, because we don't want to continue making bad decisions in their mind without addressing them, or without also being able to address them. It doesn't mean that everybody's idea is going to, we're going to do it.
Right.
But at least we can get an answer and response, and we have an opportunity to share the bigger picture or a different side and different interests.
Well, and to me that, that's the opportunity, because what you talked about, the SWOT, the SWOT analysis,
right?
And effectively, the strengths, weaknesses, and threats. But then, what are the opportunities?
Yeah.
And and I think one of the beliefs that people need to fully comprehend and maybe address or embrace is, if you come in and there's 10 of you, and 10 of you have something to say, and only one of them I can implement, we're still better off.
Oh yeah.
And so I'm just a firm believer in, it's okay to say no, but have a reason behind it so we can address it.
Yeah. And I can't tell you how many times I've been in big decision meetings, and the momentum is going one direction, and one person says something and it changes the direction.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, I've had so many of those they're almost spiritual experiences, and you're going, oh man. And so I still believe in that. And so that conversation, I tell my community, my staff, conversation is where it's at. When there's two ways to make decisions and move forward. Tyranny, I'm going to make you do it, or conversation.
Yeah.
And I prefer conversation, because the superintendent of the board can start making decisions and everybody else has to live with it, the kind of tyrannic approach.
Right.
But I prefer the conversation part, which is, hey, let's all get together and let's work this out together. It doesn't mean that, even if those people that walk away disappointed, at least their voice was heard, and that's
right. Well, a lot of people are afraid to be wrong, or afraid to realize that their thinking might have been wrong. I fall into that all the time.
Sure.
You develop an opinion about something, and then once you have the conversation and you see all sides, you actually change your mind. And there's that brief moment there where you kind of go, I was wrong, and you don't like that feeling. Yeah. But I think once you work past that, you feel better, because now you're more enlightened about the subject.
Well, and then with good communication, let's say there's 10 items that come up.
Yeah.
You divulge those 10 items.
Sure.
And then you can prioritize it, and you can show people, okay, I call it the low-hanging fruit syndrome.
Yep.
Okay, so basically, let's pick off some low-hanging fruit to show people that we're serious about this and get it done, so
Absolutely.
It's recognizable. Because a lot of the stuff behind the scenes, they can't see, or they don't necessarily have to see because of some legal issues or whatever. Yeah. But let's make some hey, well, the sunshines type of mentality. And so my hat's off to you, because to me, one of the missing pieces in a lot of places, not just school districts, is transparency through education.
Yeah.
And
it's hard to communicate. I mean, it's not. They say it's the most important thing, and but you got to keep doing it.
Yeah.
And even when
Yeah.
people that get to communicate or speak their voice, they don't get their way. As long as they're able to speak and they know that they're heard, that's number one. But number two is that later on they will.
Yeah.
Eventually there'll be something that their voice will have an impact, and that's what we're looking for constantly.
Yeah.
Not just now, but all the time.
It's okay to ask more than once or twice.
Absolutely.
So we passed this capital levy. What kind of things for people that don't know is that going to benefit?
Yeah. So capital levy, there's three types of I guess you could say, just for simplicity purposes, there's three ways that school districts seek to levy taxes to support the district. One is through enrichment. So they used to call them M&O, which is their maintenance operations. So the state only funds basic education. So your sports and drama and band and a lot of these extra things that are so valued in communities, the state doesn't fund those. So that's why we go for levies. And so we ask for the amount so that we can run our sports programs and pay our coaches and things like that, because the state doesn't give us money for those things. I
never knew that.
Yeah. Well, and that's why those levies, and people, they don't realize that if I've been through levy losses. I've been in districts where we've lost that, and so we had to cut our programs, and it's not fun. And now, if the state would fund all that, then we wouldn't have to go to levy. Then there's capital levies, which is just about projects. So capital is kind of like your facilities and stuff that are wearing down and tearing down. And so everybody received the flyer of the community. I sent everybody one of these, and it outlines it very clearly on the back what they're for. And from the tennis courts to the sidewalks, the announcer booth at the stadium, I think was built 150 years ago, and it's been condemned by our ESD, and they're just waiting for us to do something about it before they shut it down. So those are things that we have to have done. And again, the budget from the state, they don't give us money for that. They don't. You have facilities, you have multi-million-dollar facilities, but you're just going to have to find a way to take care of them. And so, capital levies help us in that regard, and they're usually small amounts. They're not significant. And then the third is bonds. So bonds are for building. Usually they say levies are for learning, and bonds are for building. Except capital levies kind of throws that that idea out. But and the bond is something that we're going to have this conversation in our community, and you've mentioned it, Scott, several times, because that's where the buildings, and I know that the buildings that we have now are very old. I mean, and after 30 years, the state supports you doing some remodeling or new construction, and that's going to be decided by the community. Now, back to the community again. And involvement, that's where the conversation has. We are overdue for a bond, according to the state standards, and well past them.
Way overdue. I graduated from Jenkins.
There you go.
School. Yeah. I mean, it's way overdue.
Sure. And so, but we don't want to just say, hey, community, pass a bond. We want to have a plan, if not 10, if 20 years, and say, here's what we're projecting, here's why we're projecting it, and have the community have a say in that. So I'll be honest with you, just because I'm a superintendent doesn't mean I know how to build schools. Okay? I know what should be inside them, and I know how instruction. So that's a conversation that I would want to lead and support. So before you build a building, you need to find out what kind of program you want. What kind of education do we want students to have? And that's something the community has to decide. Okay? And once you've decided what we want taught and how we want it taught, then you design a building that supports that. Okay, and then you go to the community and say, hey, here's what direction we want to go. Here's how we want to teach our kids. Here's what we want them to become when they graduate. And now we're going to build a building that matches that. And then we go to the community and say, hey, this is why we're asking for this money. Here's the plans, and here's what we want to achieve. And I think that's a much better process, and I believe the results.
Well, and I think, to me, as you're talking, I'm thinking when I grew up, for instance, the STEM type stuff wasn't in existence back then, Yeah. But skilled trades were.
Yes.
And that was emphasized from the point I got into junior high all the way through high school.
Yeah.
In fact, it was a mandatory requirement in junior high. You had to go through some kind of skilled trades. And not to put one over the other, but I think that's what you're talking about. If the community as a whole comes back and say, and it's no secret right now, we have a weakness in skilled trades.
Okay.
Okay.
That's very true.
And we plug that into the school system because the community says, because of the makeup of our community, that's kind of a need.
It's what we
It's not
value.
a want, it's a need. Okay.
Yep.
That's kind of what you're talking about. You go out and identify where the education needs to go and how are we going to deliver.
Exactly.
You know.
And I think typically what happens is that you're going to want some college-bound, some kids that want to go, but then you're going to talk about the career and technical issue. Right. Which the statistics keep changing every other year, but it's basically 78% of the job market requires skills. Right. It doesn't require a four-year university. So that's something that the community and the steering committee is going to look at and say, okay, where are our children going to be in 10 years and 20? What are they going to need? So then we look at career and then we build it, and then we ask the community to pass a bond so that we can support that. Yeah.
And see, and I graduated from the University of Montana, and basically what they made a conscious choice several years ago is they took over what I used to call the VOTEC. Yep. And so basically you've got the traditional university environment, but the university also runs Missoula Technical College, which is designed towards skilled trades. Yeah. And, the irony is the enrollment's up there where the enrollment's gone down on the other side. Yeah. I just got a thing from an alumni thing the other day. I mean, the enrollment's up phenomenal. Yeah. Okay, that's a message. Yeah.
I always give this example, please pardon me if you work for the Chewelah School District because you've heard this me say before, but my son-in-law, he's an engineer for Tesla, so he's working for a very prestigious company, great engineer. He welded through college. That's how he paid through college. Yeah, he's a great welder, and then there's people who do those trades that make a great living at it, and make significant money, more than probably you and I make. So I think there's some of these myths that we have to break, and then provide those opportunities for our students. Yep.
Yeah, it's a missing link to me.
It is a link. Yeah.
And I don't know, it's stereotyping, but the more rural the community, the more likely people will gravitate back towards skilled trades.
Yeah. Well, after this program, I'll send you a link, some great stuff regarding the skilled trades and how important it is.
We had a story come out a few years ago, I think it was K.S. Brooks who had done it in the Silverado, and it was the lost to skilled trades of Stevens County. It was a great article. And having a friend that owns a carpet store here in town, and having moonlighted, there when he was busy and watched things, you see the problem and the backup and the lack of skilled trades in this area, from people that do masonry to cabinet builders. If you have something in new construction that you want done like that, get in line, especially with COVID. Yeah. Everything's behind. And you've got people that are booking out things like making cabinets for people a year out in advance. Absolutely. Because there isn't enough people to fill the demand.
Yeah. Well, even on the Creative District side, which I'm involved in, our tagline, I think I said at the chamber, is, anybody's a creative if they do something with their hands or they do something with their mind. And I think that emphasis has got to be there. It's not one's better than the other. Yep. It's just a different direction. Yep. And I'm a big supporter of that. I mean, I was thinking about that, even with my own kids. I go back a little bit. I remember when the pay-to-play thing started in the 80s. Because they lost any of the other funding. And the issue I had with that was it became discriminatory. There are people that can't afford to pay to play. Right. And there's ways to fix that.
There are.
But, but it became a shock to people. What do you mean I have to spend $50 for a kid to play basketball? Right. That type of thing. So, no, I really appreciate the direction, that the school district's is going in it. So
we have a long road, but I think we can do it. And I really have significant trust in our staff and this community to make it happen, because it's going to take all of us to do it.
Yeah. And one of the things that I've read somewhere, you've got tremendous amount of community resources here.
Yes.
I mean, I've seen that at the golf course. I've seen that with the Creative District, and even with the chamber. You've got a pretty engaged community if they can figure out where to take that resource and put it to work. and all kinds of backgrounds and all kinds of, I look at things at the golf course because we do a lot of volunteer project type stuff up there. It's a godsend to have the retired electrician or the retired plumber or the retired carpenter, journeyman carpenter or the, because those people are more than willing to step up if asked, or if they see there's value. So
there's also a philosophy or just I don't know what the right word is, but there's a sense of just in our society that I think students or people have said, follow your passion, find out what you really love to do, and that's great advice. However, I found that your success much more is seek opportunities and take your passion with you.
Right.
And this is in the trades or wherever you go. And so it's like, don't close the door, just try different things, and then when you find an opportunity, then make that yours. And I think far more people are successful doing that.
Well, and I think, I think of a tagline my brother and I talked about once, and he said, education is extremely important, but it's the application of that education that'll make people successful.
Yeah.
And so the missing link is the application of that. Which is the direction I believe you're seeing the strategic plan going.
No, and that's what we want to do. And the students need to know that too. They need to know that they have to apply themselves. I've handed out probably over 3,500 diplomas in my career, and those diplomas don't all have the same value.
No.
And it's because certain students seek learning, seek those opportunities, and push for those. Schools are really important. We provide those learning opportunities and great ones, but the students have to come wanting that and thirsting after it, and then that diploma increases its value the more they put into it.
And that's a lot of that comes at home. Comes from home to drive that in them.
Absolutely. And we're motivating, but they also have to have that at home as well. And I think it's there. We just need to do more of it. And perhaps, every home is parents can obviously raise their children and upbring them however they feel is, according to their own philosophy and beliefs, which is fine. But when it comes to their future, we have to say, hey, you can do this, but you have to do it.
Right.
It takes your effort. I can't motivate a student to learn. If I do, it's gonna be every other day, or I may hit and miss. But a student who comes and says, okay, I'm dedicated, I'm disciplined, they're the ones that are going to learn the most, and they're the ones that are going to be reaching their potential.
We're actually kind of just working our way through your list.
Oh, are we?
Because I was going to say we're running out of time. We should move on to the rest of it. But you're already in it.
Oh, we're not here until noon?
With student attendance and learning expectation. I do have one tip, though. If you want to do a community event, where you're trying to pull everybody together, what I have seen since my return to Chihuahua like 12 years ago is that if you want everybody to show up, free hamburgers.
Free hamburgers?
Free hamburgers. Everybody in town.
Not donuts?
Nope.
Oh, wow.
No, it's something about the hamburgers, man. They really, really, really show up for hamburgers.
All right.
I mean, the whole town will come to the lawn of the high school if you serve hamburgers. Just saying.
Okay. Well, I'll work on that. I'll find a grant out there for hamburgers.
Free hamburgers? Okay.
And then I can get the community to come. I'll work on that, Scott. Thank
you could tie it into a fundraiser for the volunteer fire department and have them do fire burgers.
There you go.
Okay.
That's a big thing around here.
Well, who are the best burgers around town?
Oh, we don't want to go there.
Okay, sorry. I don't want to divide.
I don't want to alienate.
Well, my only interest in that question is so I can raise the money to have them make the burgers.
It doesn't even have to be a good burger, just free.
Yeah,
wow.
Food.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. I did meetings for years to the public, and we knew if we fed them and we gave them something to drink, they'd probably show up.
Okay. Yeah, and they do if you mention, and it can even be those like school hamburgers that maybe aren't gourmet.
Right.
They'll bring them out. So if you can work that into your budget.
Let me write that down.
All right, hamburgers.
Okay, hamburgers. How do you spell that? Okay, I'm kidding.
Hamburger.
All right.
All right. So you're talking about challenges, student and attendance and learning expectations and stuff. What are the challenges that COVID has brought into the school systems? I mean,
primarily attendance.
Is it still down? Are we still having a problem with that?
No. We're actually, the last couple of weeks we've been pretty good. We had a period of about a month where just a lot of individual students, either in their homes or them testing positive, and so
that has a ripple effect.
It has a ripple effect, right?
Right.
We have a process, though, that this has been approved by the county health department, to where a student can be back in school within 5 to 7 days. I think they test, and so, but still, that's a lot of days missed. And the other challenge is that we have roughly 70% of those students that are out because of that. They're not doing their work at home. And so they're coming back, and it's a struggle for the teachers to get them caught up. And it's like, we give you the work, at least do that while you're home. You're not, not doing anything. And very few, if any, are really sick so that's been a struggle. And so the attendance really has always been a challenge in education, but it's obviously been a lot more because more students are out for longer periods of time.
Right.
And when you don't have that consistent exposure and focus and support, it gets
deteriorate.
And I think that's our biggest challenge right now.
And a year of lockdown where they couldn't even go to school. Did we lose a lot of kids through that? I mean, did they just kind of give up on that's what I saw happening in a few people I knew.
Yeah, I don't know. Giving up is probably not the word I would use, but the challenges make it very difficult. And so our enrollment did go down. I wasn't here, but looking at the data,
sure.
But our enrollment now is back, and we're growing, and so we're actually on the up right now. So if we can continue that momentum, I think I mentioned that at Chamber. If we can continue to grow, then I think we're going to be okay. But enrollment's one thing, but getting kids in school and involved in the learning process is really the key thing, and that's what we're seeing as a challenge, right? Well, not so much now. I mean, we're actually doing pretty good now. I mean, we do have some students still out. That's always happening, but the numbers are significantly less.
Yeah, I think one of the when I grew up type thing, but they used to have what I called a student buddy program, and I was one of those students that if somebody was out, for a particular period of time, like I had a friend of mine had mononucleosis, and I was a student buddy, and so basically I did the accountability and the support, as far as
to help him.
Wow, what a great idea!
Case. So he stayed as tuned as possibly could.
Sure.
And that was in junior high, and it worked really pretty well, I think. I mean, it benefited me because the more you teach, the more you get to know what you're talking about, and the more you're committed to it. And it helped in this case Bill because he didn't fall behind because he couldn't go to school. And so it might be to me, it might look at it. I mean, I was talking to my daughter the other day, and my granddaughters are big swimmers over in Montana. And so I asked, because they had a meet on Sunday, and, in today's technology, we could actually bring it up on YouTube and on TV and watch it.
Isn't that wonderful?
It's wonderful. But Diane said, she says, my older granddaughter had a swim buddy that was one of the older girls that she would swim with during practices, whereas my younger granddaughter, they got rid of that, and you can really see the difference in the maturity of looking at it. And that's what jumped out of me when I grew up. The junior high in this particular case had basically study buddies.
Yeah.
Where you held each other accountable.
I like that idea. I wrote that down, Mike.
I saw that.
I'm writing that down. That's a great idea.
Well, and I can't. I don't think there was really anything in it directly for me. I can't remember, to tell you the truth. But it did help me. They used to have split grades. And so I would go into, after I started doing that, I would be in like a 7th, 8th grade class. I might be a 7th grader, but I was part of that 8th grade class. And that helped accelerated my education once I got into high school, because the whole thing went away in high school.
Sure.
But it might be an opportunity. You never know.
Student buddy system, mentors. Yeah, that's great.
A mentor system. Yeah.
You probably didn't intend to, but I wrote that down. It's a great tip.
Well, this was
something from the past.
This was back in the 60s. So
hey, you know what? A lot of good things happened in the 60s.
That's
true.
And
the technology today could make that so much easier.
It could facilitate that so much easier. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you can just log on with them and go, okay, watch, you do it like this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's keep moving. We've talked about the strategic planning and how important it is. If we've missed anything there, you can fill me in, but maybe share what some of the goals that the school system has looking into the future right now.
Well, we've mentioned them all in our discussion, and so communication. That's hopefully the community will start to see an increased communication. That's one of the goals of the district, and not only just by the school district, but also by the buildings, by the principals. So, yes, there is a Facebook page, and yes, there are things, but communication is tricky because you can communicate, but if it's not being received or being addressed, then it's always one-sided. And so our goal is to try to have different ways of communicating so we can get to everybody. The board, one of the goals of the board is two-way communication. So the board is very interested in not just projecting information out, but also get it back. And so opportunities, where can the board go out and listen and hear and talk? The other one is a strategic plan. That's a major thing. If we just improve get a strategic plan, again, that's a community centered goal, and we improve communication. That we can almost say, hey, we're there. It was a great year. But we're also, one of the other things we're working on is assessment, performance, and progress monitoring. And so back to the student learning. So that's the other thing that we're working on as a district. That's not so much something the community necessarily would have their hat in, but we do have committees that there will be community input on that. But we're really identifying, okay, for the Chewelah School District and for the community, what do you want us to be measuring? Right. Math, reading, critical thinking, science, career and tech. We have to decide what it is that we want to measure, and then find ways to measure it, and then report that to the public. So another major issue we're trying to do is student learning growth. So we can be accountable to the community. Hey, we have assessment that shows that our kids are really high in these areas, and we need to choose those because that's what we value as a community. What do we value? Well, we value these things, so guess what? We're going to measure those, and we're going to report out to them, and we're going to focus on those. So that's probably the core of what schools exist for, and so that's another item.
One question I have too is the old middle school. Is this a huge? It seems like it would be a huge burden to our school district now.
Well, it's off the books, and it's very low maintenance. So it just sits there. So
is there utilities in there still, and a little bit money? And
yes, there is, but we fixed that. So our maintenance supervisor, head of maintenance, Jason Tapia, he's gone in there, and we've been approval to make a lot of significant changes. So it's not a big money drainer, but we are looking to when we talk about the bond in the future. So that's why it's so important to decide. Okay,
as that strategic planning.
Exactly. So that strategic plan. What's the facility plan? Again, remember, it's the programs and how students are going to learn. Then we talk about buildings because they have to support that plan. And in that will be, what do we do at the middle school? Are we going to sell it? Are we going to remodel it? What are we going to do with it? And so those are the conversations that are coming forth right now. They're actually happening.
Now, I heard once, and you can tell me if it's true or not, is that land was donated and has to be used for a school. It can't be used for anything
I have not
else.
heard that, Scott.
Okay.
You're the first person to tell me that.
Too.
It could be a rumor. But
maybe I need to do some homework, but I don't know.
But yeah, and I believe it was a family that donated that, but said it always had to be used for a school, and that's been part of the problem.
Right.
It would probably make more strategic sense to have all of our schools on the same side of the highway.
Perhaps, yeah.
It seems like there's some land out there.
Yeah, there is. Yeah. And those are great conversations that the community has to be involved with. Okay. I mean, that's really, as smart or dumb as I may be, that's not. No matter how smart I am, or the board, or one individual, you have to have a community to make those decisions. It's really essential.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly. Yep.
So, if you come up as we reach the top of the hour, have we missed something that you really wanted to talk about?
Well, I have something. If he doesn't,
okay. Well, let's let him make sure he's got everything he wanted
we'll let
out
you
first.
collect your
well,
thoughts
I know that I put an ad in the paper for substitute teachers. We're in need of those. That's great. I put an ad in the paper. So if you have a 4-year degree, please contact us. And we're looking at $140, $150 a day. I know it's not thousands of dollars, but it's really helpful. And that's because of the shortage of COVID and some situations we face. So
somebody gets sick or exposed, they're on quarantine.
Right,
yeah.
Right, exactly.
I have a friend who substitutes, and she says she's working every day.
Yeah. And that's actually dying down now, but we still need substitutes, so that's always a positive thing. No, I think I think we've covered most of that. I think I got everything, actually.
All right, Mike. Pepper him.
Yep, right. Yeah.
Well, he stole my thunder because I wanted to talk about substitute teachers.
Oh, right. Yeah. Substitute teachers
Great minds
very,
think alike.
yeah, they're very important. I think they're one of those things that we don't. We all value them. Educators do, but they keep the learning going when a teacher's out because of COVID or they're out, whatever the reason. And we don't have a lot of teachers out all the time. It's just when you have 116 staff,
the odds are
that you're going to have that. But
what jumped out at me at this was my perception of substitute teachers. They had to have an education degree, they had to have a certain amount of certification, they had to, et cetera, et cetera.
And that is true. To be a substitute, to be certified substitute teacher, you can, but the state allows emergency certification.
Okay.
And that's what we're looking for now, because I think we've literally contacted anybody who has a certificate. Maybe we've missed a few people, but to have them, enroll to be substitute teachers. But this is an emergency certificate. Those are different.
Okay.
Yeah.
You might qualify for that, Mike.
The emergency?
Yeah. If you have a 4-year degree, you're in.
Yeah, I'm in, man. Yeah.
Now, each district has different standards. So in the state of Washington, this is our standard for now.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. And then the other question I have is on the marketing committee and the chamber, we've got on our list of goals to do is to establish some kind of, I call it like a DECA-oriented type program with the high school.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it'd have to be that formalized, but it's basically a distributed education program back to the business community.
Mm-hmm.
Is that on your horizon too?
No one has talked to me about that.
Okay. Well, we haven't talked to anybody yet. I brought it through because I was involved with DECA back when I was in Zula, and then actually when I was in Bellevue for several years. The company I worked for was one of the sponsors for DECA.
DECA's amazing.
So
it's done some amazing things.
And so, put that on your list.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, and those are the things that we want the community to share.
Right.
And so we can look at that and say, okay, what do we want to offer? And so I like those things. They're very good. Yep.
Okay.
All right. One more time, another chance for you to tease the veterans thing today.
Yes, veterans.
Okay.
Definitely come. 10 to 11, Jenkins. We want to honor you. Definitely. Please come. We can.
And it's
we
a
can do more.
drive-through.
It's a drive. Yeah, drive up. Yep. And but still, I mean, next year we'll hopefully be able to do significantly more. But we really appreciate our veterans. Obviously, no one wants to take for granted liberty.
That's true.
And those who do lose it. And so we definitely don't want to fall in that crowd.
Okay. Well, and don't forget the 15th.
That's what's next.
Oh, yes, the 15th.
Yeah.
Yes. Everybody in Chihuahua, please come. That's
Yeah.
about, 6,000? I don't even know how many live in Chihuahua.
2,600.
Yeah.
2,600.
Yeah.
Okay.
In town.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we want everybody to be there.
All right.
We'll expect it. And so we can move to the gym and
That's
hold
right.
this meeting and hear from you. So thank you so much.
All right. Strategic planning.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Big round of applause. Our new superintendent, Mr. Jason Perrins. A pleasure meeting you today, Jason. Thanks for being
Thank
here.
you, Scott.
Thanks for
Thank
coming.
you. Thank you, Mike.
bet. And that is our show. On the way out, anything you need to tease, Mr. Bentz?
Ooh, show up on the 15th.
All right.
I hear Jason's going to be shooting some basketball.
If I need to, if that brings people other than hamburgers, I will do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
He's not that tall. I might be in. All right. One more time. Big round of applause. I'm Scott.
I'm Mike.
And we want you to keep on listening to KCHW 102.7. As we leave, don't forget, it is a Wednesday. It's Blues Night. Chihuahua's Doug McQuain will take over the microphone from 8 to 10. His show, Dirt Road Blues. Don't forget Park Avenue Players. A play this weekend, November 12th and the 13th at 7 p.m., November 14th at 2 p.m. Tickets are $15. These are one-act plays. Eric Stevens doing a magic show, too. Catch it all right here in Chihuahua at the beautiful Chihuahua Center for the Arts. Have a great day. Keep on listening.
Goodbye.
It's KCHW.